If you're in sales, you know that the best part of your day is when the client actually takes the pen and signs on the dotted line. Today, we're going to go over a bunch of techniques ranging from really normal to absolutely outlandish to show you all the different techniques that you can actually use to get the client to say yes. Before we get into it, my name's Jason Vines. I made this channel to help people like you sell more cars, make more money, and build a life for yourself in car sales. The first one we're going to go over is a trial close. It's called the sold row close. On your test drive with the client, 2 times you're going to get yes questions. Wow, it's a nice car, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's got lots of room, isn't it? Yes, it does. And then you're going to follow up with, is this something you could picture yourself driving every day? In their head, they're now painting a picture and actually thinking about themselves driving the car every day. You do that about 2 minutes before you get back to the dealership. And then when they get back, you say, just park it over there in the sold row. It is just a trial close. You won't get any objection. They'll just park it in the sold row. If you want to take this all the way as far as you can, you bring a sold sign with you and you hand them the sold sign and ask them to sign off on it. The second one is a puppy dog close. So a puppy dog close is when you let the client take the car home overnight, just like a puppy dog. If you let somebody take a puppy dog home from a pet store, bring it to show their kids, they ain't coming back with that dog. They're keeping it. Same thing with the vehicle. Let them take it home to their spouse. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this one. Again, we said we're going to go from really normal to absolutely outrageous. Really normal version, you're giving them the key, saying take it overnight. Hopefully they fall in love with it, park it in their driveway, make sure it fits. But like I said, there's simple versions, and then there's the extremes. So the simple version is you give them the keys, say, I'll see you tomorrow. Then the extreme version is when somebody says, well, I'm not sure, I really need to show my spouse. You go, look, buddy, and this one you have to have a lot of rapport for, and it specifically works for guys showing their wives cars. Man, here's the deal. Your wife's not here. If she really thought that this was an important decision, don't you think she'd be here? She wouldn't just send you. Maybe she just wants you to make a decision and nut up and be the man. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you a big shiny red bow. You're going to take the car home overnight. You're going to park it in the driveway, put the bow on the hood, go tell your wife to come out and say, look, baby, I bought a car. And if she comes out and she's over the moon, she's ecstatic and says, oh, thank God, I really just wanted you to nut up. I didn't want to have to do anything. Thank you, baby, I love you. Great, it's a win. Text me and say, thumbs up, I'll get the paperwork ready. But if for whatever reason your wife loses her mind and says, what? I didn't want you to buy a car, blah, 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 starts going off, no problem. You tell her, baby, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to show you the car. The bow's a joke. I asked Deborah, what do you think? Either way, you win. Either you show her the car or she thinks you're a G and loves you even more. It's a win-win. Again, you have to have a ton of rapport to do the second part, but it really does truly work. Number 3, whoever talks first loses. When you present the numbers to your client, okay, you put the sheet over and you don't say a word and you wait. It may feel like an eternity. I swear there's been times where I'm sitting there for what feels like days with the client. I'm sure it was 30 seconds, but your heart rate's elevated, you're sitting, you're waiting, you've got a big commission riding on it. Just sit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to subtly nod your head. Don't say anything. Nod your head. Okay, not a lot. Not this. Just very subtle. Human beings have a tendency to mirror, so they will inevitably nod their head. And it's very difficult to say no when you're nodding your head. Now, the first thing out of the client's mouth is always going to be a question. It could be anything, like any different question, but it will be a question. Inevitably, what you're going to want to do is steer it back to selling a car, and then you're going to set the stage. If they're kind of waffling and are having a hard time making a decision, what you'll do is go, Mr. Customer, just so you know, if you were to say yes, the next steps is I'm going to put my hand out, say, congratulations. Okay, I'm going to run around and get files ready for about 5 minutes. My manager's going to come over. He's going to say congratulations. I'm going to have the finance office come out, do a credit app, and I'll get the car washed, gassed up, get both your sets of keys, take the plates off your trade, put it on the new car. I've got insurance right here, and you should be out of here in 45 minutes. Now they know what is going to happen, and they have permission to say yes. When they are ready, and they say, right, well, like they're waffling, waiting a little bit longer, what you're going to do is you're going to hold out an open hand. Okay, you'll notice my body leans back a little bit, hand goes out. It's not like this, it's not this, it's not that. Just open and the lean back. You have to be aware of which clientele this will work for. The open hand handshake does not work for South Asian clients because the handshake doesn't represent a confirmed deal. They will shake your hand and it won't mean it's a deal. In that case, you will hand them the pen. Make sure the lid's off and just say, same thing, but with the pen. Because again, culturally, the pen will signify the actual deal. Number 4, you wouldn't lose a deal over blank. This is when the client has made an offer, the sales manager has accepted the offer, but you want a little bit more money, a little bit greedy. So you can do this with payments, okay, or with the actual amount. Payments is much easier. So what you'll do, remember, your sales manager is good with the client's offer, and it will work either way. Whether he says yes or he says no, there's still a deal here. So I'm going to go through both. If he says yes first, you go to the customer and you go, hey, Joe, so just spoke to the sales manager. You wouldn't lose a deal over $10 a month, would you? And Joe goes, yeah, I would lose a deal. You know what? That's what I told my sales manager. You got a deal. Shake his hand. Boom, you win. Second way. Hey, Joe, you wouldn't lose a deal over $10 a month, would you? He goes, no, I wouldn't. Shake your hand. That's what I thought. Sign here. It's a win, and $10 a month over 84 months. Shit. Number 5, if I could, would you? So if I could, would you is kind of the easiest. You're not actually selling anything. At that point, you're just negatively impacting your commission. If you say, if I could, would you, all it's doing is reducing the price. Now, it's possible that the guy wants oil changes or tires, but again, it still goes against the gross. So it's weak, but it does work. Sometimes it's a really good tool to just get the client to open the door to saying yes, and then you work it back from there. So, if I could, when the client says, I want it $200 biweekly, you go, okay, if I could get you to $200 biweekly, would you do the deal? When he says yes, I write the exact same thing every time, and I say it out loud. I go, okay, today at, in this case, $300 biweekly, I will drive it home now. Okay, and you have to write drive it home, and he's doing it now. And then you get a credit card and a signature from the client, and you bring it to your sales manager. And that way, everybody knows, the customer understands, like, no, he's saying yes, he's doing a deal, and your sales manager is fully prepared. He's got the money in his hand. He's ready to go. Number 6, this one's called reduce to the ridiculous. This is not a closing technique. This is an opening technique. So this is if the client is having a hard time actually saying yes. He likes the car, payments are okay, they're within budget. He's going to go to 3 or 4 other of this same brand dealerships to see if he can get the best deal. So just go, hey, Mr. Customer, the payment's $500 biweekly. Would you do it at $490? Says no. Okay, would you do it at $480? No. Would you do it at $450? No. Would you do it at $440? No. Would you do it at $300? And the guy goes, I mean, yeah, do it at $300. Okay, today at $300 biweekly, I'll drive it home now. Give me your credit card and sign here. The difference between here and here. It's not going to happen, not without a shitload of money down, but it's an opening technique. So the reason I say opening technique is because now he is open to buying a car. The deal really has to make sense to him. But then what you do is you work it back up with your sales manager, and you're going to end up closing him at $480. Again, opening technique, not closing technique. Number 7, how am I supposed to do that? When somebody makes you a silly offer, you just lean back and go, how am I supposed to do that, man? Those numbers, they don't make any sense. The payment's $500 biweekly. You want $300 biweekly? Crunch some numbers real quick and go, man, how am I supposed to do that? Basically, what you're doing is you're putting it on the client for them to figure out how you are supposed to do that. And if they can't come up with a good way for you to do it, they will realize their offer is ridiculous. They will retract it and be more reasonable, or at least that's the hope. Number 8, a shout from the tower. Shout from a tower, you have to be a bit of a showman. So you're sitting with the client, they're somewhere across, within earshot from the sales tower, but not loud enough that they could actually hear them talking. You go to your sales manager and go, hey, look, I need you to just kind of shout at me a little bit. The guy, he wants to do the deal. He's ready to do the deal, but his offer is a little outlandish. So I didn't even write it down. I told him I was going to come over here and just kind of pitch you. I need you to kind of angrily shout at me loud enough that the client hears, so when I go back, he knows that the offer was stupid. And your sales manager will go, this is stupid, are you insane? Loud enough that the guy hears, and what you do then is you go back with your worksheet and you kind of bend your shoulders a bit and go, yeah, he said no. And the client will then feel bad for you. Because he feels bad, then he's going to retract the offer and maybe be a little bit more reasonable. Works really well if somebody's like, well, just try him on. This is a true story. This one is called the throw it from the desk, or throw the offer out. This happened to me. I've done it once, only one time, and I'll never do it again, but it worked. Sales guy came back and forth. It's like 10:30 at night. The dealership closed at 7 p.m. We've been there 3 hours. We're grinding over a brand new Nissan Sentra over $200. And I've done the shout from the tower. I've done all of the moves. And I didn't want to go in and talk to the clients. I don't think they even spoke English. But going back and forth. And at some point I was like, shout from the tower. Well, then tell him to get out. And I crumpled up the paperwork. I threw it across the showroom. And I remember it distinctly bouncing. I felt bad. I still feel bad. Bouncing behind the client where they're sitting, this crumpled up little ball. I got up and getting ready to close the store. And the sales guy, God bless him, comes back with this worksheet, which he's taped in half, flattened out on the desk, put it in front of me with the client's signed signature. And I went, oh, okay. I don't know how or why that worked, but it seemed to work. Number 9. The takeaway close. I actually built this whole training around the takeaway close and then forgot to add it till much later. But the takeaway close is probably the thing that you're going to use the most out of this whole list. It's very non-confrontational, very sincere, and it is true. So when a client makes you an offer and you present your numbers and he says, I would like X amount of dollars off, you from the bottom of your heart and with your best acting hat, you put your hand over your heart and you look at the worksheet and you look at them in the eyes and you go, I'm so sorry. Guys, I dropped the ball. I genuinely apologize. You take the worksheet off the table, you open your drawer, you put it in the drawer, and you close the drawer. You grab another sheet of paper like you're starting from the beginning, and you go, guys, I'm so sorry. I picked the wrong car. If that's the number you're looking for, I genuinely picked the wrong car. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm very sorry. I will go as fast as I possibly can. Okay, just to clarify, you're looking for a car that's that budget. Is that right? And one of two things is going to happen. Either A, which is the more common one, the guy goes, what? No, I want that car. And you go, no, what? No, like you can't, guys, math. Obviously you can't get that car for that price. Like, what are we even talking about? So let's start from the beginning. And then the guy will fight with you to get you to pull the worksheet back out and you can start then. And it basically, you're taking it away from him because the offer was so obscene that now he's going to reel himself back in and start from the beginning. The second thing, though, that might happen is you're genuinely apologetic and the person goes, oh, that's okay. Yeah, okay, let's start from the beginning. No problem. It's okay. No problem. And you go, oh, shit, that's that actual guy's budget. We just actually picked the wrong car. Either way, it's a win. But more often than not, the guy's going to ask to see the car again and then give you a much more reasonable offer. Extremely, extremely valuable. Number 10. Air down close. This is a way to hold more gross. When your sales manager is presenting the numbers, he's showing $5,000, $10,000 down, and $1,000 down. In the system, he actually shorts it by $1,000. So you're saying it's $1,000 down, but in the system, it's actually $0 down. Showing it's $5,000 down. In the system, it's actually $4,000 down. Again, a little bit shady, but again, we're going over all the options. So when you're doing the air down close, what it is you're sitting there, you get all the way to the end of with the client. They're about to say yes. You're kind of grinding over the numbers. And you're like, and this is when you hit them with the, if I could, would you? You're like, Mr. Customer, ask your question. You've been here a while. Let's see if we can't just wrap this up. If I could get this $1,000 to zero down, so you didn't have to come up with any money today, can we do the deal? They go, yeah, okay, great. Sign here. Number 11, would it bother you if the car was gone? So this is if somebody's about to leave, they're looking for something really, really specific. They found it, come to your store, and they're like, just really need to think about it. I don't know. And Mr. Customer, let me ask you a question. You've been doing a lot of research, right? Yeah. This is the only car out there that's this color and this trim level that you want, right? Yeah. Would it bother you if you went home to think about it and you made a decision tonight at 10 p.m. and you call me at 11 a.m. tomorrow and I tell you it's gone? Does that bother you? And a lot of times with those really specific clients, you go, yeah, that'll piss me off. And then you do the dining room close. The dining room close is something that I just made up the name for right now. But the dining room close basically is where you go, look, here's the deal. You're going to talk to a friend, a spouse, family member, whatever, and you're probably going to go home and think about this tonight and make a decision, right? And he goes, yeah. And especially if they're with somebody else, yeah, we're going to talk about it tonight. Well, let me paint you a picture. This is how this is going to go. I've been doing this a long time. So you guys are going to sit down, you're going to pour yourself a glass of wine, you're going to make your dinner, and you're going to say, do you like the car? Yep. Does the payments work for you? Yep. Should we buy it? And it's either yes or no. That conversation realistically is 5 to 10 minutes. It is absolutely no longer than 10 minutes. So why don't I just walk away and you guys have that conversation right now? And what you do is I will actually tell the people, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up. I'm going to be over there in the distance, out of earshot. And when you guys are ready, okay, you have your dining room conversation right now. I don't have any wine for you. It's a car dealership. That would be super duper illegal. But you wave over at me, okay? And I'll come back and then we can chat about numbers again. Dining room close, really useful. Would it bother you if it was gone? Really useful. Number 12. This one is called the laugh and lean. This is high level rapport close because you're going to come off like an asshole. When the guy brings you an offer, says, well, you know, I'd take it for this. You genuinely lean back and go, are you serious? What? Are you actually? And then you kind of maybe like call him a bad name. It works. You have to have really high levels of rapport to do it. But the guy will, it's almost like a hit to his ego where he's like, it's kind of like when you do the shout close where you run over and the guy's just trying you on with this ridiculous offer. So just laugh at how dumb the offer is. It does work. Number 13 is the math close, or just knowing the math. When the guy makes you an offer of whatever it is, pull out your calculator and sit with the guy and go, you want 26 grand off? What are you talking about? Does it make sense? Okay, so that's 13 different ways to open or close your clients and get them just a little bit closer to the end before you can open your hand out, pass them a pen, get them to say yes. Please like and subscribe the video. If you got this far, I appreciate it. And if there's any questions, let me know.